Morning, and I'm here as usual to talk about all things personal finance and enterprise. My name is Ayodele-Bamisaiye of Dexteritas Professional Corporation, and it's always a pleasure. I always find it a pleasure that I get this opportunity, and I don't take it for granted. Um, Today's Friday morning, and as usual, I'll be speaking to something in the personal finance space. I've done that for most of this year. And we are taking this conversation around the essence of saving to the next level. At the end of the day, putting money away should go beyond survival, it should go beyond stability, it should help us build legacy. However, if there's no clear path to be able to achieve these goals, it's always challenging. And that is my goal. My goal is to help establish a path that everybody can take a look at and borrow a leaf from and make certain changes. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, don't worry. But these are my opinions, these are my thoughts, and that's why I come to share them every Friday morning. So before we get into the meat of today's matter, I'd like to say to my friends out there who are of the modest income persuasion that if for any reason whatsoever you have not been able to file your 2025 tax returns or any tax return going back the last 10, 15 years, and you need help with that, then you can reach out to my friends at the Financial Empowerment Initiative, and they'll be more than excited to help you get those tax returns filed so that you can access the government benefits to which you are entitled and make that life change that you so desire. That's number one. Now, guess what? Yesterday was Founders Lounge by Startup Court, and it was Startup Simulation Night. An amazing experience. There were more than 50 people in the room, 5 tables, 9 players, 5 facilitators. Muscles and steak was on hand to ensure that the time was as pleasurable as much as it was fun and educative. It was a beautiful evening all in. You can reach out to people who made it out or check out the social media handles of Startup Court to get a view into how that really went down. But I had a lot of fun putting that together. So that said, there's still quite a lot to come from Startup Court this year. So stay tuned. Watch out. It's happening. Yeah. Today's matter. Let's talk about today's matter. I want to be clear that income is no guarantee for wealth. End of story. We know that. But I continue to repeat it because sometimes important things bear repeating. Some people earn 6 figures and more for decades, and wealth still eludes them. And we still will not stop hearing the stories of people who've earned no more than $60,000 a year for decades, and somehow when they pass leaving behind millions of dollars for their beneficiaries. Why is this the case? The point is this: income alone is not the answer to the wealth question. It's just the starting point. The thing about income, like I've said over and over, is this. When you earn a lot of money and you are flush with cash, there's this general tendency to do what you've always done, and that is spend. So when you earn, you spend. When you earn, you spend. And sometimes the velocity of spend exceeds the pace of earning, and that's where it becomes a problem. That's what is known as lifestyle creep. And lifestyle creep does not give you a memo. It does not warn you. It just takes as much as you will give it. And sometimes all that needs to happen is a jarring reality check. But guess what? Rarely happens. Most of us, it just becomes the norm for you to spend everything that comes in. Now, inflation is a contributor to this because the cost of the lifestyle that you have is growing with inflation. And if you live in Canada, you know that income has not kept track with that. Groceries, transportation, gas, utilities have risen at a pace that is definitely way faster than the minimum wage and faster than the income of even middle class families. Now, that still does not answer the question as to why, when you earn a chunk of money, it's hard for you to keep it and grow it. The first thing I want us to notice is this: every farmer knows the difference between the seed and the harvest. Because the farmer knows that if I eat all of my production, there will be nothing for me to plant next year. So in this earning process, one thing you definitely have to be thinking about is there an opportunity for me to put something away, and not just put it in a way that it remains as is, but put it in a way that ensures that it is growing. That's really where you want to be. Wealth is not income. End of story. Wealth is ownership. Wealth is something that puts money in your pocket without you having to lift a finger or sweat too much. The effort required is not the same thing as labor. It is productive assets. It is cash flow. It is options. The ability to choose when you get out of bed to go do work, or you get out of bed to stay with your family. Wealth is time freedom. Your time is yours to do as you will. Not your bosses, not your clients, yours. Wealth is resilience. The ability for life to happen and for you to not have to go bankrupt because of life happening. So, this is where you start to think about, okay, if I work and earn $10, how much does my lifestyle cost? What am I putting away? And that amount that I'm putting away, where am I putting it? Am I putting it in a GIC? Am I accumulating it to buy a business, buy a property, invest in the stock market? As the case may be, generating backing into ownership in some kind of asset that generates cash flow for you, either immediately or sometime not too far down the road. So this is the sequence. This is how I have seen it work. I may not be absolutely correct in every single instance, but this is how I've seen the wealth equation work. We start with income because, well, not all of us get an inheritance. Some of us start from ground zero or close to ground zero. So you start with income. Then from your income, you create some savings. And then you put some structure in place for your finances. And when I say structure, check out my article on the 5-account wealth system on my personal blog. That's a simple example of structure. If you don't have one, you can adopt that. Then the structure helps you to build capital, and that capital is deployed in acquiring cash generating assets. When you have 1, 2, 3 cash generating assets, that creates cash flow. And that cash flow helps you to buy back your time. And then you can say you're wealthy. But until then, you are in the process of building wealth. And that is the system that you want to adopt on this journey. Most people stop at income because income addresses survival. But money goes beyond survival. Wealth is not about survival. Wealth addresses survival, it addresses stability, and then it addresses legacy. And that is where we want to get to. So to get there, you got to be intentional. Nobody drifts to the top of a mountain. It takes a minute. So this is what I want you to think about. Don't forget that income pays for today. Wealth builds tomorrow. Income pays for today, but wealth builds tomorrow. So as you go through your day to day and the weekend, I want you to just sit down and think about these things and say, okay, how does this apply to me? And how can I put myself, if I am not there, get on that journey where I'm using my income to create value for myself beyond today? Because at the end of the day is going to come where that high flying job you're in is going to tell you, hey, thank you very much for your service. You did great while you are here. We have younger, stronger, more skilled professionals or AI that can take over what you used to do for all that money, and we would like you to move on. When that happens, you don't want to be the person that can't take care of themselves anymore. And that's why we're having this conversation. It's Friday, the 22nd of May, 2026. My name is Ayodele-Bamisaiye. It's always a pleasure to come talk to you about all things personal finance and enterprise. And definitely, when we hit the month of June, we are going to be talking about enterprise and expansion. So I hope you've gotten some benefit out of this. Continue to build, continue to develop, continue to follow your dreams, because in all labor there is profit. Like I said, income is for today, but wealth definitely builds tomorrow. That's it from me this Friday morning. So bye for now.